Guys, how many times have we heard Trudeau talking about misinformation and misinformation this, misinformation that?
Misinformation is a deliberate choice to spread and share falsehoods for a particular purpose, whether it's a personal purpose or a political purpose or a creating chaos purpose.
But did you know that he actually uses misinformation to push his own narratives? Yeah, he's the misinformation master. It's easy for me to say.
The entire discourse has to ground itself in something, because you're absolutely right. Who decides what is misinformation and disinformation? Well, if someone looks outside and says it's a beautiful blue sky sunny day today, we would know that's wrong, because our experience here in Ottawa, our experience looking out the window tells us otherwise. But if someone says the earth is flat, you can see extensive YouTube pages devoted by people who've decided, and this is a recent phenomenon over the past decade or so, that the earth is flat, because their experience as they look out to the horizon is, boy, the earth sure looks flat.
In this one, we're talking about Canada's oil sands, and the producers are making progress on emissions despite the misinformation that Trudeau and his government, that Guilbeault idiot, are spreading. A widely circulated article by the Associated Press misrepresents Canada's oil sands industry by ignoring its progress improving the environmental performance and its commitment to achieving climate targets. Now, I've got to say thanks a lot to Brian for sending this in. This is an awesome article and just proves that misinformation is coming from the top, not from people like us who are just telling the truth. I think one of the main things that Trudeau hates is the truth. So the article, I'll show you the article here or there, okay? This is the article, and in the article there's a part in the article that I found a little bit strange. This is a point where you don't even want to be outside, said Brittany Muzlebalak, a school teacher who often had, as soon as you get to school teacher, who often had to keep her students inside for recess because it was too dangerous to breathe this smoke-filled air. Ooh, naughty Alberta. Her husband worked in the oil industry and said that smoke this year, combined with the wildfires in 2016, have had more people in town concerned about climate change, even if many residents get their paychecks from the nearby oil patch. This is what they claim, right? This is what they claim. Oil from Canada's oil sands is among the world's dirtiest. That's the government claiming that. But the facts, these are the facts. So that's what they're claiming. The fakery, the misinformation. The facts, the truth is, the article repeats the false narrative that oil from Canada's oil sands is far dirtier than other crudes produced around the world. This is not the case. It's 100% not. Analysis by S&P Global found that average oil sands emissions intensity is in the range of other crude oils consumed in the United States, the industry's main customer. So it's not the dirtiest of dirtier. It's actually cleaner than most of the other oil producing countries and areas that produce oil. Between 2013 and 21, BMO Capital Markets estimates the average oil sands barrel shaved off more than 22 kilograms of emissions, compared to a reduction of just 5 kilograms per barrel in other major global oil producers. So Alberta is leading the way in clean oil. Oil sands producers are actually on the track to reduce absolute emissions. Wow. Total oil sands emissions were 81 megatons in 2022, nearly flat with the 2021, despite a production increase of 50,000 barrels a day. And if you're thinking we can't live without oil, or oh, we don't need oil, or we need more just stop oil people to stop the oil, these are made of oil. This is made of oil. That's made of oil. This is made of oil. This zip's made of oil. Everything's got oil in it. We can't just stop oil, but what we can do is do what Alberta's doing and reduce the emissions that it takes to create the oil. And that's before shovels hit the ground. For the Pathways Alliance's foundational carbon capture and storage, that's CCS for short, project, a network connecting CO2 capture at initial 14 oil sands facilities to a storage hub in northern Alberta. CCS, carbon capture, is expected to account for about half of the oil sands industry's targeted 22 million per tonne a year emissions reduction by 2030. That's 22 million tonnes a year reduction. But what they claim is carbon capture and storage is not a proven technology. This is the lies, this is the misinformation from the Trudeau government. The facts are Canada has 6 of the world's 39 commercial carbon capture facilities, accounting for about 15% of global carbon capture capacity, even though Canada generates less than 2% of the world's CO2 emissions, according to Carbon Capture Knowledge Centre. In Alberta, since 2015, 2 CCS projects, both tied to oil sands production, have safely stored more than 12 million tonnes of CO2, or the equivalent of taking more than 2.5 million internal combustion engine vehicles off the road. Wow. So carbon capture is vitally important because the world needs oil, like I said, and gas. Keep you warm. So them little, well, I'm still working on them heat pumps and a story around the heat pumps, because from what I'm hearing from messages I'm getting off people, those heat pumps don't actually work very well, or if they do work, they only work in certain temperatures, and then you got to back them up with oil or gas anyway. So what's the point? You know, you spend all that money and then you're using electricity. If everything is going to be using electricity, what we're going to charge our cars up with? Let's not go into that. The world will need oil and gas for decades to come. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yet more misinformation from the Liberal government. If there's something that's bothering you and you want to send me an email, just email radioreaction@yahoo.com and we'll take a look at it. We'll try and spread it. Hopefully YouTube will push the video and more people will find out about the things that you're upset about, or that I'm upset about, or that your neighbour's upset about. Till next time, guys.